Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you so much for joining me for our live tarot session today on August 4th, 2024. This is going to be a fun one, an interesting day to say the least. So let's start out by giving everyone here in the chat a shout out. So good to see you, Christy, and good to see you, Gandhi. Thank you for joining me. This is amazing. So this is a fun day. We're now fully in that new moon energy. Now is a time for rebirth, a time for beginnings and endings, for going out under the stars and basking in the vastness of the deep night, of connecting to that bright Venus star, which is now the shiniest object in our stars. You know, it's such a beautiful and magical moment. And when I was drawing the tarot this morning and I was thinking about what I wanted to title today's episode and really thinking about things, I drew the Princess of Wands, Medea, right? That energy of that fiery, youthful princess, that priestess who goes through the transformation and draws down the star, who sets herself ablaze and inspires, shines that bright light. Helen as well, such incredible magical energy, and just something that really I feel strongly, because we have this energy right now too of the moon and the sun and Jupiter all in Leo. Like, it's just wild. And we're in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. And a lot of people freak out when you have a Mercury retrograde, but in this particular moment, it's interesting because it's going to allow us to go deeper internally, allow us to really reflect, allow us to shine that light inward into the depths of our soul. It's such a profound moment. We have so much Leo, right? And we have this fiery princess guiding our day to day. We have this opening of that divine cosmic womb through this new moon energy. And it's just such powerful, powerful moment. And I wanted to read to you a couple poems. First, I want to read to you a poem by H.D. about Helen. Because this energy of the Princess of Wands is it's intense energy, and it's beautiful energy, and it's inspiring energy, but it's such powerful energy that it can be hard to handle. So here's Helen by H.D. All Greece hates the still eyes in the white face, the luster as of olives where she stands, and the white hands. All Greece reviles the wan face when she smiles, hating it deeper still when it grows wan and white, remembering past enchantments and past ills. Greece sees unmoved God's daughter, born of love, the beauty of cool feet, the slenderest knees could love indeed the maid, only if she were laid with white ash amid funeral cypresses. That curse of beauty, that curse of love and obsession. Helen is a victim in that story. She's a victim, right? She's stolen by another, or at least attempted to be stolen by another, right? It doesn't wind up happening in some of the versions. I was talking with Ammon about this. HD actually writes an incredible book called Helen in Egypt. And I was like, where did HD get this understanding that Helen never went to Troy, that she went to Egypt? And it comes from the ancient literature, it comes from the poetry, it comes from a contemporary writer of Sappho named Stesichorus, yeah. Stesichorus. Sorry, I'm so bad with some of these Greek names, but he insists that Helen was protected and that she was whisked off to Egypt, and only a image of her went to Troy. So all of that fighting, all of that bloodshed, all that death In the end, it wasn't even for anything real, just the illusion of beauty. It's just incredible and crazy to think about that power of magic and of beauty and youth and what it can do to people. Think about the celebrity in our own life, in our own time, and how it's become just so incredibly wild. So the second poem I wanted to read for you, it's a little bit longer. It's called Medea in Athens by Augusta Davies Webster. Here we go. Dead is he? Yes, our stranger guest said dead. Said it by noonday when it seemed a thing most natural and so indifferent. As if the tale ran that a while ago there died a man I talked with a chance hour, when he by chance was near me. If I spoke, good news for us but ill news for the dead, when the gods sweep a villain down to them. 'Twas the prompt trick of words, like a pat phrase from someone other's song, found on the lips and used because 'tis there. For through all day the news seemed neither good nor ill to me. And now, when day, with all its useless talk and useless smiles and idiots' prying eyes that impotently peer into one's life, when day, with all its seemingly lying shows, has gone its way and left pleased fools to sleep, while weary murmurs, taking off the mask, discern that face themselves forgot anon, and, sitting in the lap of sheltering night, learn their own secrets from her, even now. Does it seem either good or ill to me? No, but mere strange. And this most strange of all, that I care nothing. Nay, how wild thought grows! Meseems one came and told of Jason's death, but 'twas a dream. Else should I, wandering thus, reck not of him, nor with virulent hate that should be mine against mine enemy, nor with that weakness which sometimes I feared, should this day make me not, remembering Glaucy, envy him to death as though he had died mine. Can he be dead? It were so strange a world with him not in it. Dimly I recall some prophecy a god breathed by my mouth. It could not err. What was it? For I think it told his death. Has a god come to me? Is it thou, my Hecate? How know I all? For I know all as if from long ago, and I know all beholding it instantly. Is not that he arisen through the mists, a lean and haggard man, rough round the eyes, dull, with no scorn left upon his lip, decayed out of his goodliness and strength, a wan and broken image of a god, dim counterfeit of Jason, heavily wearing the name of him and memories. And lo, he rests with lax and careless limbs on loose sandbed, wind heaped round his ship that rots and sloth like him, and props his head on a half-buried fallen spar. The sea, climbing the beach towards him, seethes and frets, and on the verge two sunned and shadowed clouds take shape of notched rock islands, and his thoughts drift languid to the steeps of the Symplegades, and the sound of waters crashing at their base. And now he speaks out to his loneliness. I was afraid and careful, but she laughed. Love steers, she said, and when the rocks were far, gray twinkling spots in distance, suddenly her face grew white, and looking back to them, she said, O love, a god has whispered me 'twere well, and we died there, for strange mad woes are waiting us in your Greece. And then she tossed her head back, while her brown hair streamed gold in the sun and wind, and her face glowed with daring beauty. What of woes, she cried, if only they leave time for love enough. But what a fire and flush, it took one's breath. And then he lay half musing, half a doze, shadows of me went misty through his sight. And by he roused and cried, O dolt, Glaucy was never half so beautiful. Under part closed lids remembering her. Poor Glaucy, a sweet face, and yet methinks she might have wearied me. And suddenly, smiting the hand a whirl with his angry hand, scorned at himself. What god befooled my wits to dream my fancy for her yellow curls and milk-white softness subtle policy? Wealth and a royal bride, but what beyond? Medea with her skills, her presciences, man's wisdom, woman's craft, her rage of love that gave her to serve me strength next divine. Medea would have made me what I would, Glousy, but what she could. I schemed amiss and earned the curses the gods send on fools. Ruined, ruined, a laughing stock to foes. No man so mean, but he may pity me. No man so wretched, but will keep aloof, lest the curse upon me make him wretched or ruined. And lo, I see him hide his face, like a man who'll weep with passion. But to him the passion comes not, only slow few tears, and one too weary. And from that great field where the boys race, he hears their jubilant shout hum through the distance, and he sighs, ah me, she might have spared the children, left me them. No sons, no son to stand about me now and prosper me and tend me by and by in faltering age and keep my name on earth when I shall be departed out of sight. And the shout hummed louder forth, and whirring past, a screaming seabird flapped out to the bay, and listlessly he watched it dip and rise till it skimmed out of sight, so small a speck as a mayfly on the brook. And then he said, fly forth, bird, fly to fierce Medea, where by great Aegeus she sits queening it. Be like a joyful mother of new sons. Tell her she never loved me as she talked, else had no wrong at my hand sown so great. Tell her that she breaks oaths more than I broke, even so much as she seemed to love most, she who fits fondling in a husband's arms, while I am desolate. And again he said, my house is perished with me, ruined, ruined. At that he rose, and muttering in his teeth, still ruined, ruined, slowly paced the sands, then stood, and gazing on the rugged hulk, cried, O loathed tool of fiends, that through all storms and sundering waters borest me to Medea, rot, rot, accursed thing, and petulant pashed at the side. Lo, lo, I see it part, a tottering spar, it parts, it falls, it strikes. He is prone on the sand. The blood wells from his brow. He moans, he speaks Medea's prophecy. See, he has fainted. Hush, hush. He has lain with death and silence long. Now he wakes up. Where is Medea? Let her bind my head. Hush, hush. A sigh, a squirm, a breath. He is dead. I love this poem. I love this poem so much. This is a continuation of the story of Medea, and it shows us what happens after Medea flies to Athens and marries and becomes a queen. What happened to Jason without his children, without Glousy? He died lusting and longing for her, regretful of his mistakes, regretful of his actions. Anger still haunted him to the bone, and that great ship which bore him round the world rotted and crushed him. And he died alone and forgotten, while Medea sat reigning the queen. Wild, you know? And the message in this story I wanted for people to know is that the princess continues. If you embody that energy, that bright fire, you overcome the loss and the tragedy. You overcome and you achieve greatness. The story with Medea did not end in the play Medea. She went on to be a queen, and not just one queen, not just the queen of Athens, but then later still a queen of the Scythians, who changed their name to the Medes themselves, named after her. Right? We go and we transform and we grow. The truly powerful people have many lives, many faces, right? Medea was a priestess of Hecate. She was the lover of Jason. She was the queen of Athens and the queen of the Medes, the bringer of the mysteries, the teacher of Orpheus, and so much more. And so is every person. Recognize this in yourself. Grow and transform. Shine your light. Be bright. Be awesome. Inspire. All right. We are now going to start with our Ganapati Oracle. All right. Ganesha Ganapati is that divine child, the Lord of beginnings, the Lord of the threshold, and the master of the Ganas, the spirits. Ganesha, inspire us. What is the message to begin our reading? All right. Positive outlook. Positive outlook. The power of belief, the power of transformation, of will, right? Now's that moment we can get out under the stars and we can transform our reality. If you believe it, you can do it, right? One of the powerful things about Medea is she did not rest on her laurels when she was faced with exile and death. She burned the whole city of Corinth down. You know, and she moved on to far greater pastures. Have that positive outlook. Transform your current situation. Manifest the reality you wish to see. In this moment of the sun and moon in Leo, in this new moon energy, powerfully connected to that divine Hecate, to that cauldron, right? That Medea energy. We can get out under the stars and we can use that power of positivity and belief to imagine a better world, a better outcome, a better way. So do it. That's the message. All right. And now we're going to jump to our sortes. We will begin with Goethe's Faust. Goethe is one of the greatest playwrights and authors of all time, a true mystic in every sense of the word. And for those of you unfamiliar with the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature. It comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition, and we ask those spirits of inspiration, the divine goddesses, the muses themselves, to inspire us. Muse, what is the message today? Inspire us. Send us divine messages through Goethe's Faust. So overwhelmed, one might suppose physics and metaphysics gray had come to life before your nose. So overwhelmed, one might suppose physics and metaphysics gray had come to life before your nose. Wow. Wow. Envisioning and perceiving that world, that reality, in its duality, in all of its forms, in the physical and in the mystical. Beautiful. Right. We are now going to go to Byron. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Lord Byron? And gazing on the dead, she thought his face faded or altered into something new, like to her father's features, till each new trace more like and like to Lambro's aspect grew, with all his keen worn look and Grecian grace, and starting she awoke, and what to view. Wow. We're seeing here the magic of perception and the power of the face. And gazing on the dead, she thought his face faded or altered into something new. Death had transformed him through the face, into something new. Like to her father's features, till each trace more like and like to Lambro's aspect grew, with all his keen worn look and Grecian grace. In starting she awoke, and what to view? The transformation and the appearance of a primordial father coming from the grave. Wow. This really reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe, Ligeia Morella. That power of the gaze, right? The magic of Medea lies in her sight. Apollodorus tells us this, if you read. And we also see this in the Orphic Argonautica as well. It's all about that gaze and about the face, right? Helen is the one with the white face. Asterope, the starry faced, right? The ops. It's all about that gaze. All right, let's continue. You're going to go to Euripides, 10 plays. It's kind of interesting. A friend of mine had mentioned one of these plays, Iphigenia among the Taurians. I wonder if I will open that one today. Let's see. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? Inspire us. Not Iphigenia, but still. Sorrow. That is no prophecy, but plain fact. A fool speaks folly. Sorrow. That is no prophecy, but plain fact. A fool speaks folly. Oof. Oof. A painful truth, right? All that lives will suffer sorrow. Love and sorrow are two sides of the same coin, right? The fool speaks only folly. This is an interesting thing. I was talking today with my dear friend Ryan about the tarot, and we were talking about the magic of the magician and the fool. And the magician is an ass, a trickster. And the thing with the great tricksters is you do not pay attention to what they are doing over here. What is happening behind? What is happening out of sight? What is happening in their offhand? You know, it's never where your focus is led to, you know, and there's something to be said about that. Learning to see behind the fool, recognizing that the fool speaks folly. If the fool speaks folly, then antiphrasis is king. This is another key Orphic vox, antiphrasis. You'll see this a lot with Dionysus especially, where he will speak in riddles and say the opposite of his meaning. I was pondering about this earlier today. An acquaintance was asking me about Herodias, Salome, and how she became conflated with the goddess Diana and the moon, and how she became so wrapped up in a lot of these occulted mythologies involving Jesus and John the Baptist. And I'm not fully sure, but there's lots to think about and speculate on. And one of these things is the antiphrasis. This person asked me, I only see stuff mentioning her in the ancient literature talking about how she's awful, how she's slothful, how she should be ignored and not paid attention to, and how the kings were all decadent, and it was an unruly and horrible line. Why would you say that? Why would this survive the test of antiquity, right? Anyone who studied the pagan literature needs to recognize and understand that the Christians have manipulated all of it and have turned it on its head. What is good is now evil, right? The most joyful of gods, the one who brings the ruckus in the party, Pan, has become the Christian Satan. That tells you everything. The guy who's all about the party, is this evil, amorphous, demonic possessor, And all of that is true in a sense in the Greek, but it's far more beautiful and nuanced as well, right? And we need to recognize these things. If they're saying bad things about Salome and it's surviving the test of time, why? Right? Okay, let's continue. Shiva in the primordial tradition. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? Inspire us. Tantrism, moreover, utilizes ordinary words, giving them deeper and particular symbolic meaning. The ritual texts and formulas of Tantrism cannot be therefore understood or utilized without possessing the key. For example, Bindu, the limit point, separating the manifest from the non-manifest, but to the initiated means sperm. Vajra, the lightning, the sacred weapon, also means the male organ. Mudra, the gesture, also means vaginal secretions. Padma, the lotus, also means the woman and the womb. Do you have the ears to hear? Do you possess the keys? Do you know what the passwords are? There's a lot to unpack, right? You were just given a bunch of secret keys to the Indian tantric system, but there are keys everywhere. A key was put on display at the Olympics recently and caused the entire world to flip out and assume it was some kind of anti-Christian insanity. What was that key? Dionysus appeared on the plate for you to consume, the dying and the rising vine. On the charger plate, prepared. Dion and I have a whole episode just on the plate, let alone Dionysus. It's not just a plate. It's also a shield. It's also a charger. It's also the skin of Medusa. It's also the goddess's hymen, and so on, and so on, and so on. Just as that Bindu became the sperm, the plate becomes a hymen. Love it. All right, let's continue. We're going to go to Parvati Darpana. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Parvati Darpana? Parvati is confident and poised, self-assured in the knowledge of her own physical charm and aware of her destiny, that she was born to marry none other than Shiva. Wow, that's beautiful. Parvati is confident and poised, self-assured in the knowledge of her own physical charm and aware of her destiny, that she was born to marry none other than Shiva. Right? They're showing you the mystical levels to the divine marriage, to the divine unity, the coming together of the polar opposites, and recognizing that this is our purpose. We are all Parvati. We are all that expecting bride to be, who needs to recognize their lover and invite them in and be transformed, to see themselves reflected in their lover's gaze. Right? The hero's gamos, exactly. Beautiful. Recognize your purpose is to come together in loving union, right? Whether to create art or to create life or to create joy, it's to come together in community, in pleasure, in beauty, right? Love it. Let's continue. We're going to go to Three Tragedies, Federico Garcia Lorca. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Lorca? Inspire us. With dramatic surprise, there exists things outside of life, you say? In the air, you say? There exist things outside of life, you say? In the air, you say? I don't know. But it's beautiful to speculate on, is it not? Is there life beyond life? What would it be if it's beyond life? It's such a, wow. Outside of time? Are we talking ionic life? Something to think about for sure. All right, we're going to go to Q. This is such a incredible novel. I'm thinking I may read this on the channel at some point. It's talking about the Protestant Reformation, and it's about two spies going to war with each other, one Catholic, one Protestant. And it's magical. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. If you are looking for a really interesting rabbit hole, search out the author, Luther Blissett, specifically the Luther Blissett Project. Because this is not written by one individual. No. This Luther Blissett is much more complicated and worth checking out. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Q? Inspire us. This woman never ceases to astound me. This woman never ceases to astound me. Are we not been just talking about that Princess of Wands, right? That priestess, the one who goes through the transformations, that Medea, who lives many lives, who wears many masks. Wow. Is she not astounding? Should we not be amazed? And there's something important about being inspired and being amazed. What is the muse? What is the role of the muse, right? We were even talking about Parvati. Parvati is that muse, right? And she recognizes her destiny as a muse, to inspire, to be. You know, we all play this role at various parts in our lives where we are that inspiration. We are that object of beauty. And there is power to be held in this. You know, in our modern society, we often reject that role. We denigrate that role. We believe that role is less than. That role is equal to, right? And is necessary. And we will all play that role for someone at some time in our life. And it should be embraced and recognized for its power. All right. We're going to go to The Jaguar and the Priest, an ethnography of Zetzel souls. This is such a fun book. Pedro Pitarch went to Chiapas, Mexico, and lived with the Zetzel-speaking people and really explored this concept of the soul within their language, their culture, and their religion. So muses, inspire us with Pedro Pitarch. My interest here is in the locations, circumstances, and favorable context in which knowledge of souls is developed, including the domestic sphere, interpretations of dreams, the subject of gossip, and the scrutiny of personal details in which signs of a specific soul's presence are sought according to how they manifest in the body of the person's character. Wow. My interest here is in the locations, circumstances, and favorable context in which knowledge of a soul is developed, including the domestic sphere, interpretation of dreams, the subject of gossip, and the scrutiny of personal details in which signs of a specific soul's presence are sought according to how they manifest in the body and the person's character. Wow. So what this is recognizing is that the development of the soul occurs within the confines of the community and within the conversation, right? The location, the circumstance, what brings about these discussions. What creates a soul is recognizing the soul, recognizing it in community, ascribing it color, in detail, in character, and we do that through the interpretations of dreams, through looking at things in our domestic life, through examining our personal character and seeing it reflected in that ethereal spirit, right? And through even gossip. It's interesting to think on, And this kind of knowledge is something that can be perceived and recognized in our own lives, Beautiful. All right. We're going to do one final sorties here. Let's go to Edgar Allan Poe. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Edgar Allan Poe? Inspire us. Yes, said the king. Come, Hop Frog, lend us your assistance. Characters, my fine fellow, we stand in need of characters, all of us. Ha, ha, ha. And as this was seriously meant for a joke, his laugh was chorused by the seven. Hop Frog also laughed, although feebly and somewhat vacantly. This is interesting. Hop Frog. This is a really good and crazy story from Edgar Allan Poe about a fool. Really interesting. Come, Hop Frog, lend us your assistance. Characters, my fine fellow, we stand in need of characters. All of us are in need of characters. Ha, ha, ha. And as this was seriously meant for a joke, his laugh was chorused by the seven. Hop Frog also laughed, although feebly and somewhat vacantly. You see, there's a recognition here that Hop Frog has that magic of laughter. He has that magic to face the absurd and to take the leap through transformation, to move without reason and beyond reason, and to bring character, to don the mask and become another, right? And this is magic the king wants. Come, Hop Frog, bring the laughter. Let us all laugh. And they had seven. He had seven men laugh with him. But, they're sycophants. And even though he can force the fool to laugh, it was vacant. Interesting. Think on that power of character creation, of donning the mask and of laughing in the face of absurdity, right? And recognize that even if you were a fool with nothing, you may have the greatest power, something that even a king would die for, who would force others, does everything to try and manifest it. But there's something about wealth and power that precludes foolishness. It precludes, I was talking about this with some friends, and there's a recognition here. One of the ways you defeat extremism, fascism, is through that great mother and through transforming that violence. But there's another way too, and that is through mockery, through laughing at it, through not recognizing their superiority, but looking at them and seeing it for childishness and silliness, reducing it with a laugh. You know, why is something like weird all of a sudden such a powerful magical spell? It always was and always will be. That's why. Laughter is our greatest strength in the face of just about anything. Laughter and love, Dionysus and adoration of Venus. That's the magic right there. All right. We are now going to go to our tarot proper. So please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It really does boost everything in the algorithm. And it is a nice little blessing and good karma for you. And if you are at all interested in a private reading, please send me a PM or an email. You can email me snappydts@gmail.com, or you can find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. So we're going to do our Thoth Tarot by Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to call forth that divine Kronos, Saturn, and we're going to ask him to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to look at the conflicts and how we rise above them, to ask, how do we move and flow? How do we evolve? And how do we manifest our true will? All right. And as always, the center card is the most important. Oh my gosh. Could it get any more beautiful? Jeez, we just had this. What is going on? On the new moon, no less. Draw down that star. Now is the time to do the magic, to do the action, to go out and make the wish, to imagine yourself into the future. The cycle is ended and we are now being reborn anew. Create that image. What is it? What do you want? Ask for it and she will give it to you. Her cup is full and she's ready to rain it down upon you. Now is that moment when you can shine that light and be seen. Recognize this. This is truly a magical sign if I ever saw one. All right. Let's continue. Futility. Futility. So even though we are in this act of drawing down the star, we are connecting to this divine feminine, there is still doubt. There is still a lack. There is an overthinking, right? What is the 7 but an expansion upon that 6? And the 6 is science, reason, perfected balance of the swords. The 7 of swords is overthinking. It is moving beyond reason into doubt when we start to continuously reflect upon things. What's important, though, is this futile thinking has not yet manifested into interference. We're not preventing ourselves from moving forward. We're doubting ourselves. We need to overcome that doubt, right? We need to go back to reason. Think less. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Beautiful. What are we doing? What are we asking for? We're asking for the culmination of this artistic creation. We're asking to temper ourselves like steel, to unite yin and yang and manifest the divine Rebbe, to consummate love. We're asking to come together in union. That's what we desire. That's what we're wishing for. Art, creation, beauty, temperance. That's such a magical sign, right? You couldn't ask for anything more important than art. We're showing up, though, here is that Prince of Wands. Beautiful energy for all this Leo, this fiery Leo. We're that prince. We're that one who is moving, chasing their will, manifesting their desire, who is wielding that skeptron. But we are showing up immature and reckless, right? This can be divine Helios or it can be Phaeton. What happens to Phaeton? Phaeton in his recklessness doesn't heed his father's guidance and he burns himself up, right? We have to be careful when we drive that chariot. It's the right energy to approach the star. But is it mature enough? Let's see. Wow. Connected to art is the lovers and love, right? Art is the culmination of that connection, of the alchemical wedding. It's the consummation. It's the coming together of forces to create something new, right? For that to happen, you must be pursuing love. You must be fired in chasing this energy. You want to share your cup with another. Beautiful. You're moving towards that love. You're in the pursuit of that love. And it makes sense. Wow. Let's continue. Okay. Wow. Connected to that prince, we have the Knight of Wands. Interesting energy. I think this is about, we've seen this come up before. When you see these two energies in unison like this, what this is about often is a refinement. It's a refining of energies and a refocusing of energies. Where the prince shows up as reckless, the knight is capable. The knight is the most capable of these cards. He has the power to manifest his will to set things ablaze. The issue is he can be reckless and misguided. He can act passionately without reason. But the ability to do so is there. The maturity to go and get it is there. You're chasing after that pursuit of love. What this is about is refining, becoming more responsible, becoming more mature. That prince evolving through personal responsibility, becoming that knight, and chasing after that love. Let's see where this is going. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. The ion. Wow. What else are we wishing for? We're wishing for something new, to produce a new age, to transform our reality and to give birth to the next generation, to be in this divine marriage and to imagine a new future, a new reality. Wow. Connected to that star, we are in the pursuit. We are that prince energy that's going out and working towards this. And this is that energy, the ion of transformation and giving birth to the next age. If you look in the back, you have the previous generation, right? You have Horus in the background, or Osiris in the background. And then in the front, you have the divine child of Horus, or Harpocrates, Heru Raha, right? The silent one. Potential, the child to come, Dionysus reborn. Working towards that transformation. This is about, again, this, what I'm seeing here is this pursuit of love, this pursuit of creation, this pursuit of children and family. Interesting. Progeny, creation. It doesn't necessarily have to be children. It can still be that artistic creation or building of something like a business. But it is very much a creation, a coming together of minds to create something new. Wow. Yeah. Connected to that ion, now we have the birth of the child, the princess. The princess in that discs, in our physical world, right? Through this pursuit of this energy of the ion, of this transformation, of creating the next generation, right? We manifest the child. that princess of discs, who has the potential to become the queen or the knight, to manifest the earth in all its abundance and wealth, right? That powerful princess. But this is energy that must be nurtured and cared for, right? Let's see where this is going. That is such beautiful energy. You know, the 10 of discs, completion, wealth, Plutus, right? Not just money, but wealth in its true sense. This is kin and kinship, family, love, security, abundance, right? This is literally the princess meeting her full potential and becoming that divine child, that Plutus, that joy. Wow. Wow, that's such beautiful, beautiful energy today. Oh man. Okay. I'm going to flip my camera so we can take a full look. But before I do, once again, please give me a like and a subscribe. It does make a difference. Every little like helps, and it's a good blessing, good karma. And if you would like a private reading, please reach out. Or if you just like to chat, I'm always looking for friends. And, you know, if I don't get to you on Discord sometimes I miss messages. I get a ton on there. Please message me again, or, you know, have patience. I apologize. I do want to talk to everyone. I love all the attention, and I love meeting you all. You're beautiful, beautiful souls. So, and thank you. I so appreciate this. I set out on this journey to make connections, and that's what I'm doing. All right. Let's continue here with our tarot reading. So, futility, 7 of Swords. What do we believe is futile? What are we doubting? We're doubting this grand transformation that we're experiencing, right? It's like love and children, right? But the Princess of Discs is also that manifesting of moving in the real world, building a relationship, building a home, building something tangible and real in the physical, coming together, right? So there is doubt here, but there is so much love and there's so much powerful energy. We just need to overcome this doubt, that futile belief. Recognize the abundance and the love that is present in front of us, you know, and don't let this futility prevent us from pursuing that love, from nurturing that child, you know. The gains here are incredible if we can move towards them. We go now to our next. We can see here, sorry, I'll just move this back a bit. Yeah, we can see here with the star, right? What are we doing? The star is about that connecting to Venus, to that Aphrodite Comethel, right? That Aphrodite is the comet, the star, right? Drawing her down, wish fulfillment, Aquarius energy, right? And we are approaching this as that Prince of Wands, that one who manifests their will, who goes out in active change. We're showing up as immature and reckless, but we are doing so, and we are trying. And the result through this wish fulfillment and this energy of this action is that we are wishing for and we are drawing down the new ion, right? Transformation, growth, beginning a new cycle, calling in the next generation, being responsible for that next generation, right? This is more than just creation and coming together for love, but coming together for love and purpose of building and creating in generational flow, producing the next line, right? Creating unto the future, imagining a better universe in reality. Wow. All right. If you can show up as that Knight of Wands, if you can show up as that Knight of Wands in this mature, outgoing energy, you can pursue that art, right? You can pursue this connection. You can connect with this other, and through transformation, give birth to this Princess of Discs. Manifest this love in the physical, and in this union, embody that divine Rebbe. Become the androgyne. See yourself reflected in the other. This is divine union. Beautiful love consummated and fulfilled that produces that new aeon, that produces wealth and abundance, Plutus, joy. Wow. It's about taking that responsibility, being that active force, shining that light, pursuing that art, drawing in that wealth. Beautiful. All right, we're now going to look at our crosses. So we start here. That passionate Knight of Wands is part of the wish is manifesting this Princess of Discs, building something in the real world, a family, a foundation, a business, a child, right? This is what we're wishing for and what we're pursuing. That physical, real world manifestation. That's one half of this wish. The other half of this wish we're seeing here is the love and the wealth. We want true love and connection, consummated, that produces abundance, Plutus, wealth, joy in that physical, right? This is such beautiful energy because this is really is wish fulfillment energy. When we look, what are we asking for? And we can see it clearly in the four corners: love, children, wealth, maturity, right? How are we pursuing it? We see in these corners, we're showing up slightly immature, but we are pursuing our will and we're drawing down the star. We are showing up doubtful, not thinking we can fully manifest, but we are still moving towards her. We are still actively doing it. And we are going through this transformation. We are manifesting that child to come. We are drawing in and working towards this new age, right? And then finally, we're creating the art. We're connecting to that other. And with them, we are transforming and becoming, manifesting this ion. Wow. So the key to all of this is being in this wish energy, going out and asking the universe and being clear. You know what you want. You want love. You want children. You want purpose to inspire you to create that next generation. You want to manifest abundance, children, wealth, and security. You want to create beautiful art, to become truly connected with an other in unison. You want to take responsibility and become that mature knight. You just need to overcome the futility, right? Continue through this process of transformation and overcome the immaturity. All of the powers are here. We just need some fine tuning, slight tuning, a little less thought, a little more responsibility, a little more action. That's it. This is one of the more beautiful readings we've done. Amazing. I love to see it. Wow. I hope that resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. Go out under the stars. Imagine yourself into the future and ask for what you want. The universe is telling you, write the story. All right. We're going to do one final message from Ganapati Ganesha, and then we'll call it an evening. Ganapati, Lord of beginnings, divine child, master of the threshold, perfect for that ionic energy. What is the message to end with this evening? Inspire us. Fiery determination, positive outlook, fiery determination. Do what is necessary to take responsibility and action. Go out under the stars. Imagine your better future. Be determined. Be positive. Love and pursue love. Pursue art. That wealth and abundance is here if you go out and seize it. All right, everyone. Peace and love. This was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will see you tomorrow. Happy new moon. Go say hi to Aphrodite. Good night.